years running. It truly has become a tradition here at QVC from Rastelli's. The king of all steaks, the most tender, the most flavorful. Really, the fan favorite is the Filet Mignon. These have been on fire, literally and figuratively, today, with 36,000 orders placed just today, and they are backed by popular demand. You're getting 10 of these gorgeous black Angus, aged minimum 45 days filet mignons, each one individually blast frozen and sealed, so you can make one or you can make all 10. But when I tell you, I always say it, I am a filet girl. Every time I go to a steakhouse, I will have the filet. But guess what? This is the best filet mignon I have ever had. And I do not say that lightly. And on top of that, I love all things Rastelli. You know this, Ray Rastelli, I really do. But this is my favorite thing you've ever brought to QVC. It really blows me away. And you're getting 10 of them, 5 ounces each. They come in the fancy box. That's when you know that it's the reserve, right? Yes. When you get that black box. And I was lucky enough to get that said black box. And I just sort of like was giddy. I was filled with joy, not even knowing what was inside of it yet. And then I opened that box and my jaw hit the floor. And not only that, when I started cooking them, the experience got better and better. While we're talking about celebrations, while we're talking about holidays, anniversaries, birthdays, Tuesdays, you have filet mignons from none other than Rastelli, who is celebrating his 48th anniversary of opening your business today. The 5th year running, 10 filet mignons. Not only do you get the filet mignons, you get the seasoning, which really does make or break the steak sometimes, and then, hello, gorgeous. The Epicurean butter. That is the secret right there that really brings all of this to life. This buttery, beautiful piece of steak, the most popular steak here at QVC and beyond. Now let's talk about your options here. You have it shipped right now because you've seen this presentation throughout the day. Your mouth is watering. I've seen it throughout the day. I keep on coming onto set to get more bites. You have it shipped the week of November 11th or December 9th. But this is auto delivery at its absolute finest. The same price Ray somehow was able to bring us from the TSV of last year is the price this year that you are locking in now for a second year in a row with that auto delivery every 60 days for a year. These would be $25 anywhere else each. They are $15.99 each. It is a TSV, what goes away at the end of the day. Today's special value price tag of $159.98. A $32 easy pay. The best of the best, the creme de la creme, the king of the castle right here is your filet mignon. It's M93038. Over 36,000 orders today, 2,600 of those just in this show. Now, if you want this immediately, there's only 4,500 remaining. And if you want it in November, 3,700. And the most popular is the December 9th ship date. We started the day with 22,000. There's 5,600 remaining. Final presentation right here. All right, enough out of me. Let's talk to Ray Rastelli himself. Happy anniversary, by the way.
Thank you so much.
It's so good to see you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much. We're really so excited because it's become a tradition now here at QVC. 5 years, filet mignon, black Angus reserve, which means only 4% of all black Angus cattle actually qualify for this steak. So you're getting the creme de la creme, the king of steaks, but the very, very best in this particular category. Now, we add that Epicurean butter because I'm going to show you the way that you would get this steak if you went to a great steakhouse. I'm going to show you how you can make an incredible steak in less than 10 minutes that's going to go on your plate, and you're going to think about how is it that all these years I just could never get a steak the way I could at a steakhouse, but now you can, and I'm going to show you just how that happens.
That butter, that secret sauce, if you will, really sets it over the top. And I know you know this, but I worked in high-end restaurants for a very, 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 very long time. And that is the secret. It is bathing it in the butter. It really infuses the steak that is already tender, already buttery, already silky and elegant. It just takes it up to the next level.
Now, you can see the size of this, Julia. Look at the size of our fillets, right?
Oh,
They're big fillets. There's no fat. There's no gristle in here. I want to show you something now. I've got a fork in my hand. I've got a knife in my hand. I'm not going to deal with the knife. I'm going to take my fork and I'm going to go right through the center of this fillet. Look at how beautiful this is. Now, when I can do this with a fork, you know what? I have got a steak that is so incredibly tender. Now, that you can't do with any steak, but you can do it with a black Angus steak that's been actually aged for 45 days.
And that makes a difference. Why?
Because aging is a natural process. So if you take a look at this steak, I want to show you the inside of this steak, because what you're going to find, no fat,
Nope.
no gristle.
Nope.
But the aging process is what gives you these beautiful, this texture here. And that aging process breaks down the enzymes and the proteins, and it's what makes this steak so incredibly tender. Every bite will melt in your mouth the same way this butter is melting through this filet.
It really is a wow of not just an offer, but of the steak as well. And that is a testament to the cattle that you bring in from those small family farms.
So important. I will tell you, it's all about where it starts.
Okay.
It's where we start on the farm. And of course, this is actually my farm. There's about 600 black Angus cattle out there. We raise nothing but the finest cattle for our programs. And of course, the reserve is only the top 4% of all of those cattle. So only the very, very best actually makes it into this program. Now, the nice part about it is these farmers I've worked with now for almost 45, 46 years. But you see those cattle in those beautiful pastures, green pastures, clean water, clean air. That's what we want. We want them to be free roaming, free ranging cattle, because happy cows make incredibly tender steaks. So that's where we start. But then when it gets to the butcher shop, we're going to age this for 45 days in our aging rooms. And of course, what does that do? That aging process is a natural process. But when we age it, all the fat is on top of here, so we age it with all the fat, 45 days, and that's what's really
the key.
because it locks in all the juices and the moisture in the steak. Then once it's completely aged, we trim all the fat off it. All of our butchers hand trim the fat, the gristle off it. We do not give you the tail portion. We just take that beautiful center cut steak, and I'm going to cut right through it. Look at my knife, just goes through that like silk. And this is what you should expect. You see this gorgeous marbling inside this steak? That's what we want. We want to make sure it's center cut. We want to make sure the marbling is there, but we don't want any fat. So if you look at this, look at the top, the bottoms, the sides, you are going to eat from one end to the other. Every single bite will be tender, will be juicy, and it will melt in your mouth.
Honestly, it's a work of art. It really, really is. Look, you are our largest food brand here at QVC. You're our most popular food brand here at QVC. You bring us a lot of steaks, a lot of chops. We saw that great ham just earlier. This is the #1 steak, our best-selling steak from you. Over 4 million filet mignons have been sold. That's a lot of steak, a real lot of steak, and you're getting 10 of them home. Each one individually packaged, so you can make one, you can make one or you can make 2 for your anniversary dinner, or you could make all of them like I did for all of my friends, and I really regretted it afterwards. I was like, I should have really saved on to those a little bit more, but I will tell you, I am now the most popular girl in that building. We grilled them on up, and we'll show you pictures of that later. But let me just show you everything that you're getting. They're thick, they're juicy, they're 5 ounces each. You're also getting the seasoning, you're also getting the butter, and it comes in the perfect box. Oh, here's my picture. Here it is.
There she is.
So, I mean, I got my samples home. I was so lucky, and there was like a potluck for watching football, and I was like, hey, I have filet mignons. Let's grill them up. Let's try them out, everyone. And even the people who said, oh, I'm already full, that whole plate, gone. And that little puppy Nellie right there, oh, was she really trying to get in on that? Was she trying to get in on that? But it was such a feast, and my friends that I hang out with, they are real foodies who love to eat. We love to go to the finest restaurants, steakhouses. This is the best filet you can get.
And I want to show you what I've done with this filet. So look at the size of this filet, right? It's 5 ounces. It has got no fat, no gristle on it. Now, here's what I'm going to do. Look at the thickness of this filet. I'm going to stand this filet up on its side, and I'm going to actually cut this in half horizontally like this, right?
Okay.
So if you think about it, I'm going to make 2 filet mignon steaks out of 1 because I can, because they're nice and thick.
Right.
And you know what else I did, Julia?
I love the thickness of these.
I've got our Faroe Island salmon over here. I took one of our Faroe Island salmon pieces.
Beautiful.
Right? And I've cut it in half. So with 1 fillet and with 1 Faroe Island salmon, I made the most incredible surf and turf that you could possibly eat from 1 piece of filet and 1 piece of salmon.
All right, I need
Look
a bite,
at that.
man.
Isn't that incredible?
I need a bite.
Okay.
Now, look, I usually make a creamy horseradish sauce when I have filet, and I make one of like the best ones ever.
We've got some of that for you. I made sure we had some of that just for you, right?
Well, he knows me. He loves me.
So I'm going to put a little bit of that right there.
Thank you so much.
I'll let you
Oh,
go
that
ahead.
looks great. But I was going to say, it doesn't even need it.
That's why I love it. You can actually cut right through that with a fork, right?
It didn't actually need it because that butter just gave it these extra layers with that herbaceousness and the creaminess. But I'll always take a little horseradish with my red meat anytime. Oh yeah.
Isn't that something? I mean, just
The
melts.
best filet ever. Ever. I can't stop. I could eat all 10 of them in one sitting.
And easy. Can I show you how
Please
easy
do.
this is? So you know you're getting the Epicurean butter. So here's the way I'd like to do it because it's simple, right? I just take a dollop of that, just drop it in my skillet. I got my skillet
It's
at
a big
about
tub, by the way.
400 degrees, right? And all I want to be able to do is just melt that in there. It's not going to take but about 15, 20 seconds. I then take my filet. I've got the seasoning on top. And of course, that seasoning is coming with the pack. So all I'm going to do is drop that in there. And I'm going to just let that go ahead and simmer in there. It's not going to take long. It's going to take all of maybe a minute on each side. So if you can see the butter, the butter's melting right inside there. Look at this now. All I'm going to do is turn it over. Look how quickly I have seared those filet mignons. Now remember, I always tell you, take the filet out of the freezer. Once it's out of the freezer, make sure you get it to room temperature. When you get it to room temperature, you're ready to sear it. So, Julia, I've seared this now for 45 seconds to a minute on each side. While I've been doing this, my oven's been set at 350.
Okay.
So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this, I'm going to go into my oven. The magic of TV, and these were just finished, right?
Okay.
I'm going to pull these out because at 350, these will take 5 minutes in that oven.
5 minutes.
That's it. So we've got a minute of searing on one side, a minute of searing on the other side, and it's that simple. Now,
was it okay that I grilled them up?
It was perfect that you grilled them up because you can sear, you can grill, you can bake, you can air fry.
They were perfect on the grill.
Absolutely. And this is where I'll just take a little dollop of that butter, drop it right on top there, and I'll let these actually sit here for just a few minutes because they will continue to rest. And once I bring them up, and I'm going to go ahead and bring them up now just because of time, I want you to see how fast I was able to actually make these fillets, seared in the oven. And look at how gorgeous that filet is. Right? This is exactly what you would get if you went to that steakhouse, right? And you wondered why it was so tender and juicy. That's what this is. This took all of 8 minutes for me to do.
Unbelievable, but it's so elegant at the same time. It's so elevated at the same time. This is the today's special value that we wait all year for. This is the 5th anniversary of Rastelli's bringing us the filet mignon, today's special value, and you did it at the same price that you did last year, which is kind of unheard of. That's not what I'm hearing on the news, right? So this is a really great opportunity. Keep a good thing coming and get this home on auto delivery. In fact, auto delivery is kind of outselling the one-time shipment 2 to 1, which leads me to believe everyone sees this value.
That's smart.
At $15.99 a steak, a filet mignon. This is a value of $250 that you're getting for $159. But I am a diner, right? I love to go out to eat. That's where all my paycheck goes. I'll be honest with you. Going out to eat, having a martini, having a filet mignon, hanging out with my friends. The place that I most often go, and Rachel knows exactly what I'm talking about, a petite filet mignon is $56. That's no sides. That's no cocktails. That's not a little salad to start. That's just a piece of meat
filet.
with your fingers crossed that it comes out right.
Yes, and now you've got this at home. Black Angus, Reserve, age for 45 days, and of course with that butter, we're making it simple. We're making you an incredibly expert chef, because I'm a meat cutter, remember that. I'm not a chef. I just like things simple. I like them to be flavorful. I like them to be tender. So the king of all steaks is the filet mignon. Every bite will melt in your mouth.
It really, really does. I was blown away by how tender and buttery it was. Well over 3,100 orders placed just in Rachel's and my little mini version of Gourmet Holiday today, a little 2 hours then. Almost 37,000 now for the entire day. Please don't wait on this. So you were kind enough to send me a sample. I fed it to all my friends. I will never make that mistake again. I want to say that for myself. But during Rachel's and your presentation, I took to my phone and I was like, these are too good.